Hey there, Amplifiers, and welcome to another episode of Growth Amplifiers. Today, we're thrilled to introduce Megan Schwan, the dynamic CEO and founder of Sidekick Accounting Services. As a dedicated mother of 4 children, Megan truly understands the importance of running a profitable and successful company, not just for business owners, but for their families and employees as well. Her mission is bold and inspiring: to change the daunting statistic that 8 out of 10 small businesses fail. Megan is passionately committed to empowering entrepreneurs, helping them turn their dreams into thriving businesses. Welcome to the show, Megan.
Thank you for having me, Manny. I'm excited to be here.
Well, I'm excited to talk to you as well. Can you tell our audience a little bit more about you and your business?
Yeah, so I fell into it, as you like to say, and have just kind of built it up over the last almost 10 years. It'll be 10 years in January, and it's definitely been a journey. So a little bit about my journey is what kind of inspires the passion and drive behind what we do as a company. My business really helped to sustain my family, get us out of some rough circumstances, and still allow me to be there for my kids. And that, not to say everybody that we serve is a single parent, but we want the same idea to be available. We want businesses to help support and support the, sorry, okay, let me pause for a second. We want businesses to be able to work for their owners instead of their owners working for them, and to achieve that level of success, whatever that looks like for them. So whether it's being able to support their families or grow and sell, or just be able to have a second set of income, whatever that goal and definition of success is for businesses, we want to help them do that. And we help them do that by the numbers, which is actually the most important part of a business. Because if you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. And it's really hard to make good data-driven decisions if you don't have all of those things in place. So that's where we kind of start, is at that foundation.
Well, that's excellent. And first off, I want to say congratulations on the upcoming 10th anniversary for your business. That's a huge milestone. And you mentioned before, or in the intro, we talked about the number of businesses that fail. And obviously, the longer you're around, it's a smaller and smaller percentage that can go that long. So that's a great milestone. Congratulations.
Thank you. We're very excited about it.
I want to dive into the people that you serve in your business. Who is it primarily that you work with?
So we primarily work with minority and women-owned business owners that really want to grow and scale their businesses, usually beyond themselves. So whether it's having employees or contractors, being able to take a step back in their business, that's really what we focus on. We focus in a few different niches, but the ones that we're kind of especially focusing on in 2024 is for group homes, daycares, and nonprofits into this new year. But we can serve a variety of different clients.
For that audience that you're working with, what are the top challenges that you see that they have that are common across the board?
So a lot of people know how to do what they know how to do. So, or they have a passion. Like with the nonprofits, there's a passion mission that they're trying to achieve. With business owners, they know how to do what they're doing. They know how to take care of kids, or or start a food truck, or make food, whatever it is that they're doing. They know how to do that. But running a business is very different. So a lot of our business owners and organization leaders, they struggle with seemingly simple things like paying themselves, planning for taxes, reinvesting proactively into their business. Those are some of the key things most business owners that we work with struggle with. They just don't understand how to, or they don't really realize how to use their numbers so that they can make decisions, but then also be proactive in all of the different pieces that really come with running a business that a lot of people don't realize.
Yeah, I definitely see that a lot as well. For those people out there, if someone's listening, they've got a daycare, or they're a minority-owned business that's really trying to get those foundations in place to be able to scale. What's something that you can share with them that would be an actionable step that they could take on that road to building that business that could last for 10 years?
I think where it starts is really just getting that information in order. So getting your bookkeeping together is like the first step, because if you don't even know where your numbers actually are going, you can't really do anything else with it. It's like when we do our end, when we do analysis, we can't do that unless the data is in front of us first, right? So that's a big part of being able to take that next step, whether it's cutting expenses or improving your margins, or figuring out what you will owe for taxes. You got to have that data in place first. So that's definitely the first action step, is to get your bookkeeping in order, whether you're doing it or you're hiring a professional to do it. That's a big first step to being a successful business owner.
I know in our pre-interview meeting, we talked about some of the different things that you're doing in your business to help improve it. And one of the things that came up was systems and structure. Is that something that you help your clients with as well, helping them have those systems and structure that can really help that business run consistently so that it can grow?
Yeah. Yes, from a financial perspective. So we often come into organizations and we help put a system or process in place to make the financial side of things more efficient, more like simpler, because a lot of times people are doing things real complicated. They don't have a schedule for things like invoicing or following up on accounts receivable. So we help kind of set those systems in place so that their financial foundation is a lot more solid and efficient.
Excellent. Can you share a story of a business that you've worked with and what that transformation looks like for that business?
Yeah, so we have kind of a bigger success story, if you will, with one of our clients. They're a food-based business. One thing for sure is that they made it through COVID and actually had their best year. But where we really came in and helped them initially was on their profit margin side. And it was a neat experience. We were going over their how they're pricing each of their products. And I remember specifically one conversation that we had was just around, the product pricing. And I had just mentioned like raising it by $1, and just the light bulb that came on in his head, and the realization that it only took that dollar for every, product to reach his goal. And I think that that's really what it comes down to, is like there's all these little moments in business where like a light bulb comes on, and then you can just get closer and closer to your goal. And so much of that comes back to your numbers, because all of our decisions come back to them whether we realize it or not. But it's when that realization starts to hit, that's a really cool experience. And so we were able to help him with that. And as he continued to grow, and we always went back to the numbers, to figure out how to make things more profitable, how to be more creative in his offerings too, because believe it or not, that's part of the conversation, right? When you have your numbers, then you can start thinking outside the box, and get kind of creative with what you need to do on the operational side as well as the pricing side. And he eventually sold part of his business to a bigger organization, and now his frozen food is in a bunch of stores up in Wisconsin. And so that's kind of our big success story, is he was able to grow to like this bigger height because he started to get more involved in the operations and numbers of his business, which was able to point him in a direction towards where he was wanting to go, which was to get bigger and be nationwide. So he's on the way to becoming a nationwide brand. And that was really cool to be part of that process. So
That's a great story. And it reminds me of something that my business partner and I, Kenny Harper, talk about all the time, which is small hinges swing big doors. And it's just like you said, it doesn't have to be this huge change in your business. It can be something small, but it can make a big impact. And over time, that impact becomes exponential. So that's a really, really great story.
Yeah.
Hey there, this is Kenny from Growth Amplifiers, here to ensure you get your awesome ideas into action to grow and improve your business and achieve your full potential. Take the first step by visiting growthamplifiers.com and clicking the Start Here button. Take the assessment to get your personalized score. Then select from free resources to learn how to improve your score. Don't wait. Be proactive and take action now by visiting growthamplifiers.com and clicking the Start Here button. And always Keep on amplifying. Now, let's get back to the show.
Talking about small hinges,
cool.
Again, in our pre-interview meeting, we were talking about books and resources. As advisors, we're always looking for those tips and insights that can help us grow. And you mentioned that you're a big fan of Atomic Habits by James Clear, and that had an impact on your business and how you work both with your clients and with yourself internally. Can you tell me a little bit about what impact that book has had on you and your business?
Yeah, so I think so much of being a business owner really comes down to kind of those little things as well. Like you said, the little hinges, because it's all those little decisions and all those little things that we do daily that really add up to the bigger things. And I think that was kind of the bigger realization I had when reading Atomic Habits, is that it really helps you to create a system of habits that just stack on top of each other. So it makes all of these little disciplines that we're trying to establish as owners a little bit easier because there's so much of it, and so much of leadership comes down to being disciplined. Just having that like almost like a cheat sheet to being able to create better habits is really what that book provided for me. And then as a result of it providing that for me, it also passes down to my team as well, and so creating better habits in terms of our work and communication and even service just deliverables. We stack habits now on top of each other. So we accomplish this one thing and then move on to the next thing. And it just allows for us to continue to move forward in our growth and development, both individually, but also as a company. And so it's been very impactful in that respect. Discipline is very hard for people. So having kind of, like I said, that cheat sheet has been really helpful. And it's a book that I like to try and revisit every year because I just get more out of it each time. As I grow as a person, I get more out of it. So it's a pretty cool book.
I love that you mentioned revisiting, because it's very similar to the habits, right? And I love how in the book they talk about, once you've done it for a while, it becomes almost subconscious where you're doing that, and it takes less energy. And then you can layer on top of that. So by reading books multiple times, you're kind of doing the same thing, because as you start to go through the habits that are in the book and you build one layer, you can start to add on to it. So I think that's a great insight that you share there. If there is a minority owned business out there, or someone that owns a daycare, or maybe there's an advisor who knows someone that has that type of business, who has those challenges that you're talking about, what's the best way for them to connect with you, and how should they reach out to you?
Well, simply my website is probably the simplest place to get a hold of me. So it's sidekick-accounting.com. Otherwise, I'm also on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. So you can certainly connect with me on those channels as well. And I also have a YouTube channel also. So any of those areas.
Excellent. So make sure you check out our website. We'll link to it in our show notes. And Megan, as we're finishing up here today, do you have some words of wisdom for those business owners? Maybe they're trying to not be that statistic where they're not going to be able to keep their business running, or maybe it's that business owner that's striving to hit that 10-year mark, and maybe it's one that's gone even longer. But what's some words of wisdom that you've learned along your journey that you feel could inspire someone else?
I think right now the words of wisdom, I have lots of them, so trying to narrow it down. I would say probably especially in this economy right now, we really have to be adaptable and innovative. And every stage of business over the last 10 years, like I can tell you all of the different stages and levels that we've gone through, because it's a journey. And I think you really have to look at it like that. It's like, even if something doesn't work out, like, how can you adapt? How can you innovate? How can you adjust or change? Those are big pieces. Like when something's not working the way you anticipate it, like go back to the drawing board, and really kind of just take a look at what you're doing and who you're talking to, and focus on that and what you can adjust and try again. Because success, it's cliche, but it's true. Success is full of failures. And you got to be okay with that. It's just part of the journey, and just being innovative and adaptive is definitely the way to get through some of those harder things. And it's also kind of fun because you get to be creative and kind of out of the box as well. And I think that's a cool part about business also.
So true.
My advice for today.
I think that's great advice, being able to adapt and adjust as you go. Thank you, Megan, so much for sharing your insights. It's been a pleasure to have you on the show. And we look forward to seeing your business celebrate your 10-year anniversary, and then also best of wishes for the next 10 years.
Thank you.
To show your support, take a moment to amplify this message by sharing it online. To connect with me or gain more business growth insights, visit www.growthamplifiers.com. Thank you for your support.